13 on the review for the Algebra 2 final. So question 13 says, compare the two functions represented below. Determine which of the following statements are true. The functions have the same vertex. A, the minimum value of f of x is the same as the minimum value of g of x. B, the functions have the same axis of symmetry. C, or the minimum value of f of x is less than the minimum value of g of x. D. So we have one in graphical form and one in algebraic form, the vertex form. That is where zero or some function, they have f of x, g of x, h of x, let's say, equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And this value, the h value, h is your axis of symmetry, and k is your maximum or minimum. I'm a terrible speller. Okay, so I'm going to erase that because I use Google a lot for my spell check. Okay, so we know that the vertex here is inside the parentheses and also on the outside. That's the axis of symmetry. The trick is that instead of -6, we're going to put +6. So it has an axis of symmetry at 6, which just means that when we graph this beautiful function, right at x equals 6, that's going to be where we could cut the function in half, cut the graph in half, and that's where you can draw a line through a shape or a graph such that one half is a perfect reflection, one side is a perfect reflection of the other. So then we have 6 and then -4 on the outside. So that's our minimum or maximum. That's our axis of symmetry, our h, and our k. And then over here on the graphical one, f of x, we have a -1, -2. We have -2 and -4 as our vertex. So the axis of symmetry is at -2 and -1, -2, -3, -4 is the minimum. That's clearly a minimum. The graph doesn't go any lower than -4. Where A says the functions have the same vertex, well, they don't. We have 6 and -4 for g of x, and for f of x we have -2 and -4, so nope. The minimum value of f of x is the same as the minimum value of g of x. Well, yeah, it sure looks like it. And we don't have a slope. That would be the a value, a times x minus h squared plus k. We don't have a negative sign or -3 or anything, so we know it's open up, which means just like f of x is, which means it has a minimum. So yeah, they do have the same minimum of -4, right? So -4, B is correct. The function C, the functions have the same axis symmetry. No, one is -2 and one is +6, so that's not the same thing. D, the minimum value of f of x is less than the minimum value of g of x. No, they're the same. One is not less than the other. Get out of here, D. 14, the graph of f of x is x squared is vertically compressed by a factor of 1/2 and is translated to the right 3 units and down 1 unit to produce the function g of x. Which of the following equations represents g of x? Okay, so all we need to do is take those instructions and then build the function out of it in vertex form and see which one of these A, B, C, or D is a reflection of our good work. So compressed by a factor of 1/2, that means our A value, and this A times X minus H squared plus K. 1/2 is our A value. And then it's compressed, it's translated to the right 3 units. So remember, inside the parentheses, we're going to do the opposite. So even though we're moving to the right 3 units, we're going to put -3. And then it's down 1 unit, so that's -1. So eyeballing that, C is the correct answer. Because g of x equals 1/2 of times x minus 3 squared minus 1. Perfect. 15, a parabola has a vertex of 5 and 6 and passes through the point 10 and -4 in the y equals a times x minus h squared plus k vertex form of the parabola. What is the value of a? So we can take our knowledge of the vertex, that x, a times x, that's +5, so it's -5 inside the parentheses. So a times x minus 5 squared, and then 6, that's a +6, so +6, so that's our maximum or minimum, that's our k value. And then remember, our template or model for this is a times x minus h squared plus k. And again, we knew that based on this vertex, the parabola has a vertex of 5, 6. That tells us that h equals 5 and k equals 6. And since it's a +5, it looks like a -5 inside the parentheses. Then it passes through the point 10 and -4, so that means our x equals 10, and our y, so set y equal to a times x minus 5 squared plus 6, y equals -4. So only thing we need to figure out is what a equals. So to do that, we're going to say instead of y, 4, -4 that is equal to a times x is 10 minus 5 squared plus 6. Well, 10 minus 5 is 5, and 5 squared is 25, so we have 25a plus 6 is equal to 4. We subtract 6 from both sides, minus 6. 6 minus 6 is 0, and then -4 minus 6 is -10. So we have -10 is equal to 25a. Then we divide both sides by 25. So -10 divided by 25 is equal to a. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 goes into 10 twice. That was a negative divided by a positive. So a equals -2/5, which means C is the answer. 16 says, which of the following statements describes key features of f of x equals x squared plus 2x plus 7? The y-intercept is 0, 7. So this number by itself is our y-intercept. If we were to plug in 0 for x, where x equals 0, x squared, 0 times 0 is 0 squared is 0, plus 2x plus 2 times 0 is 0, 0 plus 7, last I checked is 7, and x-intercept just means that when, y-intercept means that when the line on a graph crosses the y-axis, then that is your y-intercept, and the x value is right between -1 and +1, so when x is 0, y is 7. Also, it's just as easy to just remember when a quadratic function is written in standard form, as in ax squared plus bx plus c. C, it's kind of nice the math gods came up with c because c makes me think of a constant. A constant is a number by itself, which doesn't have a variable attached to it through multiplication. So the number by itself, the c value, is your y-intercept. Okay, so then g, we accepted f, but g says the y-intercept is 0, 2. Well, if f is correct, g is wrong. H says the vertex is at -1 and 6. Well, we have to find the vertex then. So that's negative b over 2a, which is going to be equal to, and here it's a good idea to say, well, a equals 1, the coefficient of x squared, the number part that's multiplied by the variable part, is 1. That's number multiplied by a letter thing, a variable. Anyway, a equals 1, b equals 2, and c, as we established earlier, equals 7. So negative b over 2a is -1 times 1, excuse me, -1 times 2, which is -2. Another way of remembering that is, hey, just flip the sign. We have a +2. Now we have a -2. And then 2a is 2 times a. 2 times 1 is 2. Well, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Any number divided by itself is 1. A negative divided by a positive is a negative, so we have -1. And then let's make sure we get a 6. So we just plug that back into the original function, which is going to be x squared, but we'll have -1 squared plus 2 times -1 plus 7. So -1 squared is +1, and then 2 times -1 is -2 plus 7. Well, 1 plus -2 is like -2 plus 1. That's -1. -1 plus 7 is like 7 minus 1, which equals 6. So H is correct. I says the vertex is at 2 and 7. Well, if we are confident in our work on H, then I is incorrect. The minimum is at y equals 6. We just solved for the minimum or maximum of 6, and it looks like this parabola is open up. So we would have a minimum because the leading term looks like it's positive. So yes, then in that case, we will say, yes, the minimum is at 6. And we don't see any questions about maximum. The next one is about minimum. So we're going to say that's true. The minimum is definitely not 7, so that's incorrect. The axis of symmetry is at -1. That's when we did the negative b over 2a. That solves you for your axis of symmetry. So that is correct. And since we accepted the vertex of -1, that leading number, the x value, is your axis of symmetry. And then M, the axis of symmetry is 2. Well, if the axis of symmetry is -1, then it can't be 2. So F, H, J, and L, and that is a wrap. Thank you.